All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the 4-1 Detroit Lions, the future NFC North champions. I don't think anybody's going to argue with this statement right here. The Detroit Lions are not only one of the best teams, or the best team in the NFC North. They're not only one of the best teams in the NFC. They're just genuinely right now like a top 5 undisputed football team right now. We talked about some of these additions, specifically in the draft. Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. We talked about a lot of these young rookies coming on in here saying, look, these are players who are going to make an impact day one. And if you watched the second half of the Detroit Lions last year, you started to lick your chops. Sam Laporta is not only one of, or like the best rookie tight end right now, he's one of the best tight ends in the National Football League right now, helping out fourth in the NFL in scoring. But Mr. Sam Laporta, he leads all tight ends with 25 catches for 289 yards. I mean, it's just guys like that. Brian Branch, St. Brown, Gibbs. These are players who are going to be coming back healthy, whether it's this upcoming weekend against Tampa Bay or the following weekend against Baltimore. But one thing that has separated this Lions team from a lot of teams in the NFL outside of Chiefs, Eagles, 49ers, whatever it is, they want it. Like, these guys want it badly. They always say energy is contagious. And when we heard Dan Campbell, in training camp, say, look, if you're hunting us, you won't have to look very far. We're going to be on your front porch. That is contagious. That follows to your fan base, that follows to your coaching staff, and specifically and most importantly, that confidence translates over to your players. And especially when we're talking about a lot of these young guys, I mean, that makes a very, very big difference. So before we get any further into tonight's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. As always, Lions fans, you guys are absolutely awesome. If we could try and get this video to 500 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So even just on paper, man, I know the Lions are dealing with some injuries. Some are more unideal than others, specifically to CJ Gardner-Johnson from what was that, week 2. Emmanuel Mosley this past week, torn ACL. Absolutely hate to see it. But overall, you have a phenomenal offensive line, just phenomenal, top of the class, world class, upper echelon, beautiful offensive line, top 5 undisputed in the National Football League. You have a quarterback who is currently in MVP conversations in Mr. Jared Goff, 69.8% completion percentage. He's thrown for over 250 yards per game. He has 9 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. And you also have one of the best edge rushers in the National Football League in Aiden Hutchinson. Now, look, Aiden Hutchinson is a defensive end. He has 4 interceptions in 25 career games. And just to throw it out there, he gets held every single time, or what feels like every single time. I am being a little bit dramatic, but Aiden Hutchinson, I got a comment on our last Lions video, and I fully agree with it. I think there's a word we need to throw in front of when we're thinking about star Aiden Hutchinson. And yes, of course, the word is super. Aiden Hutchinson, folks, is a superstar, and Lions fans saw the writing on the wall the second he was drafted to their team at pick number 2 in last year's draft class. But it does kind of feel like the NFL is now fully aware that Aiden Hutchinson is an already established star and rising superstar. And I guarantee you, by the end of the season, that's the way it will be. Well, it's not just all of this talent. It also is your offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson. It also is your amazing head coach in Dan Campbell. And it just kind of goes back to some of these things. They just want it. Confidence is contagious. And I was thinking, if you guys don't know, I run a golf company called Golf Balling, and there's a player, Max Homa, and he was asked, I think a week or 2 ago, how many people actually want the ball? How many people want that? I know it's a golf reference, but we're going to translate it to football here. How many people actually want it? How many people actually want it? I think the NBA is a great example of, for a lot of these guys, it is just a job. It's just a job. What is it, 20 to 30, maybe 40% of players on, a good team like the Detroit Lions actually love their sport. And I think that's, more so tailored to sports like golf and basketball. But the Detroit Lions want it badly. And here's the thing with Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell, they're making it look easy. I mean, Jared Goff is throwing to wide open guys, completely wide open guys. And even when we take a look at statistics, first off, the Lions statistics offensively and defensively on paper, analytically, they look beautiful. But defensively, it's going to be a little bit skewed. Offensively, it's going to be a little bit skewed because the last two games you've been what up 28-10 at halftime, 27-3 at halftime. A couple of weeks ago, the Atlanta Falcons scored 6 points. Like, they just don't feel competitive. And take it from a cheesehead, man. Take it from a Green Bay Packers fan. I know we kind of came back a little bit in the second half after you guys went up 27-3 at halftime on our home turf, might I add. It just never felt competitive. It never really felt like the Packers had a chance. Physically, it is not competitive. You have a versatile running back room with Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. David Montgomery has followed Jamal Williams' footsteps perfectly. You've got St. Brown, you've got Gibbs, you've got Branch. These guys are coming back sooner rather than later. I actually think we know that St. Brown is back in practice right now. But when we just measure everything up with the Detroit Lions, things are looking beautiful. I mean, they're just looking beautiful. This is a squad that just put up a 40 burger with no sauce. They didn't even want any sauce with those 40 nuggies without your wide receiver one. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't even play in that football game. So even just on paper, we're looking at a team that's scoring 30 points per game. And what's so funny is, the Detroit Lions were a top 5 scoring offense last season. And we were talking this past offseason. Lions fans were agreeing with this. And we're like, hold on. I have guys like Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown coming into, year number 2 or, just getting older and, being in the Lions experience a little bit more. I know those guys are more than 2 years into their Lions experience, but hopefully you get my point here. Like, they're already existing talent's only going to improve. They're young, loaded offensive lines already going to improve. But we're sitting here, we're thinking, they had a top 5 scoring offense last season, and I think they're going to be a better scoring offense this upcoming year. And we've seen it with the additions of David Montgomery. We've seen it with Jared Goff being Jared Goff. We've seen it with the addition of Jahmyr Gibbs, who, by the way, by the end of the season is going to be a freaking dog. I mean, he already is a dog when he plays, but they're slowly bringing him in for a good reason. David Montgomery is doing more than enough. And then obviously we have the best tight end in the National Football League at this time in Sam Laporta, the second-round draft pick. I'm not forgetting about Jack Campbell. The one nitpick I would have to say about the Detroit Lions, which is great because, when we take a look at the depth chart, Jahmyr Gibbs can catch it, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, Sam Laporta, et cetera, Marvin Jones. It's Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams in that last game, 2 catches for 2 yards. He had three targets. Looks just, not great. When we saw that kind of a little bit we heard some rumblings of it in training camp, and then we kind of saw it a little bit in preseason. Now, I definitely have to give this guy the benefit of the doubt because, first off, last year, he came back in week 12 after a torn ACL. So that season, his rookie season, is a wash. This pretty much is Jameson Williams' rookie year. But I would love to see this guy get more involved in these 2 big-time road games. You're playing Tampa Bay and you're playing the Baltimore Ravens. If you even just win one of those 2, which I fully anticipate the Lions will, I mean, those are great defenses. So we know the Lions are a good football team. We've seen them take down teams like, the Kansas City Chiefs on the road week 1. But these are 2 testers because the rest of the Lions schedule is like pretty easy just on paper here. But these are 2 big games. I mean, if they win both of them, I think you could say they're easily the second best team in the NFC. I would say they're teetering close to 2, but they're certainly number 3. That's it for today, though, man. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button if you enjoyed it. But, guys, let me know your thoughts on this Detroit Lions team down below. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.